Ani Bojo, Kenanui Janishnabek, Chimiwech, Gabajayan, Gabajaya Pompi Nongo, meanwhile Mizindoye. First and foremost, I want to extend my sincerest condolences to those who lost loved ones over the past few weeks. It's been a hard time for our community, and I just want to know that you guys are all in my heart, and yeah, it's really, really, really tough time. I understand right now. I'd also like to thank my nominator, Karen Sandy, and my seconder on that nomination was Marissa Manang, Jimmy Gwetch. Every time we speak our language, we heal and we lessen the detrimental side effects of the residential schools. Whatever happened before between us, good or bad, between you and me or one another, we need to move beyond that. We move forward from here. Respectfully, it's not about us. It's about our kids. Our kids cannot wait for us to figure our stuff out. There's kids currently that are getting left behind. They are here, they're living amongst us right now, and they cannot wait any longer. They're being passed on traumas that we got from our parents. I want to share with you all a very monumental and spiritual experience that I had. It's helped guide me to here today, to give me strength to come and speak in front of my community. I worked with Moose Deer Point First Nation back in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. I worked as a translator and a transcriber in reporting the history, past, present, and future. Worked with the last Potawatomi speaker on Moose Deer Point First Nation. On one of my rides back, going back down south, I went on that winding path back towards the 400, the Highway 400. I had an eagle fly right in front of my Jeep. I almost hit it, but it flew up and over the hood and over my roof, and that eagle's wingspan was as big as the width of my Jeep. It was gigantic. It was a sign from my clan ancestors that the path that I was on was the right path. I want to share that blessing with all of Chimbinsi. Naha Kamashta. J King Bijaganashi no swim. Gagi Kami Kana and Digo. Make a say and Doda, Chimdasingi on Daris. Ojibwe, Bodawadami, and Nanda, the sweep and Ojak Diawa. Wawas Kones, Shinkazo Donis, meanwhile, Megazis, Shinkazo Shkidonis. Zot bench one, Shinkazo West. Ashley Port, Shinkazo. Nebuskin, Georgina Island First Nation, Ginjaba. The Miigwech went Mok Kina and then away Magna. Nagiwiro Kapo, Jamina Baxian, meanwhile, Zongabuyan. I speak in our native tongue first, as this is the way that we traditionally spoke to our nation at Council Fire. I learned the language from my Nook Miss Gama Smith and my dear friend, Kinmagekwe Myrtle Jameson. My English name is Jake King. My Anishinaabe name is Everlasting Road. I'm born and raised here. I'm of the Eagle clan and I'm of Ojibwe and Potawatomi descent. My mother was Valentina Smith, daughter of Velma Smith and Bennett Smith. My father is Blaine King, son of Burley and Wilma King. My partner's name is Ashley Port, who is a band member of Georgina Island First Nation. I am thankful for all of my relatives. They helped me to live a good life and stand strong. Brothers and sisters, I come before you in truth and respect. We all walk the same path. We all slake our thirst from the same waters. I bring a message about this dire situation our First Nation is in. Brothers and sisters, heed my words as I speak, as it is my clan responsibility to educate and carry the words of the Creator to the Anishinaabe. Many of our leaders treat our community like it's a business, but forget that the heart of the community is the people. How are we to have progress and economic development if our people are getting left behind and sick? If our community is dying from the inside out, from mental, spiritual anguish, we cannot move forward as true Anishinaabe. I've waited for so long for anyone to reframe leadership to be about us and what happened to us, and not about them and the tainted future that we're on the verge of accepting. The Indian Act Chief and Council electoral system is a detriment to our inherent right to self-governance. It is in place to impose Canada's assimilative policies on the Anishinaabe of Wolseley First Nation. These are some of the remedies that are foundational to our First Nation. I find of utmost importance. Education. Education can be a weapon to stave off the impoverishment brought on by illiteracy. Our future lies in our past of perseverance and survival. We must teach our community about the Indian Act and what it has done to our people, and why complacency is Canada's assimilative work, and why complacency is doing Canada's assimilative work for them. We all have kids and grandkids that are to benefit from knowing who they are. A solid foundation will prevent them from making missteps and trying to find themselves in the important teen years and getting left behind and becoming another statistic. Housing. Housing for on reserve and off reserve is essential to living a good life. Without a home, how can I retain a job? Without a home, how can I keep a clean, safe lifestyle without drugs and alcohol? Without a home, how can I have custody of my children? Housing is important for our growing nation. I would advocate for our First Nation to work alongside other First Nations, municipalities, provincial and federal governments, and even other off-reserve organizations to help solve the housing crisis for our band membership. Right now, coordination of this initiative is already on its way. NICHI stands for National Indigenous Collaborative Housing Incorporated and is an essential collaboration of Indigenous and non-Indigenous organizations and government coming together in concert to bring about solutions. The talks are in their infancy, but many bright minds are coming together to help Anishinaabe find homes. I will be at the front and center and to find solutions with other like-minded leaders to help our band secure housing solutions at all costs. Culture. Our culture was illegal. Gathering in groups of more than 3 was considered an illegal war party under the Indian Act. This destroyed our communal living, much like how our men went off to war to fight for our treaty rights. They met other Anishinaabe and discussed what was normal and what was an egregious practice by other Indian agents. So too is it an asset to live off reserve for a period, to not become blind to the injustices at home, and learn from other reserves on how we can work together towards a brighter future. The complete dismissal of Indigenous spiritual beliefs contributed greatly to the erosion of the Anishinaabe and Wet'suwet'en. The loss of culture and connection to the land today by Indigenous is considered a contributing factor to communities. Language. Language is central to the Indigenous worldview. But language through a Eurocentric lens can be seen as optional. It is almost extinct because of that thought process. I've said, our elders aren't getting any younger. Our kids aren't staying kids anymore. Action and change needs to happen. When our elders are gone, so too is the language, history, value system, spiritual, ecological knowledge, and the worldview. I'm advocating for culture, language, education, and housing. Mio Kinawakiri and Mongol. Nigan Nabada, Chimibwach Kinwin.